I put my trust in you, and I trust in our love. I put my trust in you, I put my trust in love. I put my trust in you, and I trust in our love. I put my trust in you, I put my trust in love.
Hello friends, my name is Dave Miller.
And I'm Niall Spain, and we're fuck buddies.
We are a dating and sex advice podcast where we take your sticky, sexy situations and we turn them into sexy, sticky situations.
Simply put, we're a sex and dating advice podcast, and we either get questions off the internet, which we hunt through the fronds and the trees and the vines, and we find them there, wild, just skittering around the internet for you. Or we get them sent in, packaged and roasted with rosemary and thyme from our lovely listeners like yourself.
You're hungry, aren't you?
I'm always hungry.
That's fair. I've just eaten I usually don't eat this early, and I'm so full of pad thai right now that I'm mildly uncomfortable.
That's nice. I just stuffed myself full of candy because I feel a little zonked. I got boosted today, so I'm a boosted boy. I got the brand new version of Bill Gates's stuff downloading on my brain.
Perfect.
So it's going to be a powerful episode.
I was supposed to be boosted already, supposed to get boosted on the 6th, but I done got
then
the
you
COVID.
Decided to go get sick.
Yeah, then I was like, you know what? I'd rather snort some of this Omicron up my nose first.
You ate far too much COVID, and I told you it was going to ruin your dinner.
It's true, it did. I also went for a very long walk today. Very long walk.
Very exciting.
So I'm also a little zonked. I wish I had some candy. Should we do some questions?
How about we jump into a little sex news?
Okay.
Did you hear about Members Only Waffle House?
No.
It's an X-rated dessert shop that just popped up on Queen West.
Okay.
So they make waffles in the shape of dicks.
Oh, yes. Yes, I do know about this.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the
And if
thing.
I remember correctly, they have like ice cream in them and like they come out the tip.
We can only hope so.
I think so. I think there is like an ejaculate simulation.
That's fair. Honestly, I just saw the thing and I was like, that's all I got, really. But I'm just going to bring this funny. Someone saw this posted around Toronto on some lampposts, and it says, written in giant black permanent marker, Samantha, stop telling people you broke up with me. I broke up with you first. You can't break up with someone once they have already broken up with you first. I broke up with you first. Underline. So Someone out there needs to listen to this podcast. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Samantha.
Yeah, I know. Samantha, what are you doing?
You can't break
That's
up with
like
someone
saying
you've already been broken up.
Yeah. She was all definitely like, oh, this won't work. He's like, no, because you can't fire me because I already quit.
Yeah.
I'm breaking up with you first. I'm in there.
Well, we're projecting. We don't know. Maybe Samantha is a terrible person. Maybe she's ruining this poor person's life.
You know what? I've dated the Samantha. It's possible.
It's possible.
Maybe it's the same one. Ooh.
Maybe.
Maybe I wrote the note. Oh, shit.
Yeah, is this
just
your way of getting validation right now?
Are you ready for a question?
Yeah.
Okay, we're not going to get into the title here. This is by Automatic Boot. Male 30, female 29. We've been dating for about 4 years and decided to pop the question during dinner last night. I asked the staff at her favorite restaurant to hide the ring in the brownie so she would find it mid-bite and propose. I see in hindsight now how much of a bad idea this was. It seemed like a good idea since
whoever thinks this is a good idea.
Since we met over a bake sale over brownies. So she took a few bites, about 4, and it looks like she chewed and no ring came out. I asked the manager I gave it to, a personal friend of mine, if he put the ring in the brownie, and he confirmed he put it in right before he brought it to the table. I asked him to look everywhere just to make sure. I mean, accidents happen, but either the ring dropped somehow or she ate it. My friend told me a ring is nowhere to be found. I asked him to look everywhere and nothing. I'm still kind of freaked out. I don't know how to tactfully tell her she might have eaten her engagement ring. And this is, how do I tell my girlfriend? I think she might have eaten her engagement ring.
It makes me so mad. Even like when people are like, oh, put the ring in the glass of Prosecco. Why? You spent so much money on it. Don't put it in a fucking glass of Prosecco, you idiot.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, they probably want to put it on, right? And it's like, if they put it on, it's going to be all sticky. And that's like, you got to go home and wash your engagement ring. Also, like, I don't know. What if they accidentally drink it? Like, what might have just happened here?
And my thing is like, look, if you want to like put it on the top, you know what I mean? Like put a little bit so that they see it. But like, I don't know if you've ever crunched something that shouldn't be in food, but I've been to a restaurant once and there was like a fucking like a nut from like a nut and bolt, like an actual piece of metal.
Oh no.
Yeah. And like it fucking hurts to chunk down on that. So it's like, why would you be like, haha, got you. I've shattered your fucking molar. Marry me?
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, even if this worked out and like they found it in their mouth, it's like they're going to be upset and bewildered, if not outright hurt or choke or swallow it. Like, these are all bad things. And then best case scenario, they're like, oh, I pulled it out of my mouth and it's dirty. It's got chocolate on it and it's like got full of saliva, but wow, let me finish swallowing so we can celebrate this moment. But also the poor restaurant. I hate when people are like, oh, even just like put a candle on this when it goes out. Like, if you don't do candles or whatever, that's a lot of shit to dump on people who are already doing literally a million other things. Don't fucking put the restaurant under this kind of stress.
Yeah, it is not their job to make your proposal go well. And like, you know, this seems like probably they're doing it if the manager is a personal friend of yours, maybe that's the agreement there. Cool, whatever. But like,
but even then, is he a friend if he went and stole your ring instead of putting it in this brownie? Because I think we both know that's probably more likely that the ring never made it out than if you accidentally swallow it, right?
Hey,
like,
times are tough for us restaurant folk. I got laid off for the 4th time in 2 years, so...
Hey, is it preferable to working minus 28 on a patio like I did the other day where I made a whole $1?
But times are tough. That's an engagement ring that you could have put in your hot little pockets.
Mm-hmm. My pockets have never been hotter.
This has got to be a trope that started in film and movies and TV and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, I highly doubt that this was a thing that people actually did because the risk of it is so high of it going poorly. So stop fucking doing this and stop trying to like make, like, if you want to have a big grand romantic proposal, making someone fish out the ring out of their mouth while they're eating dessert is not the way to do it.
100%. So how does he tell her?
I mean, you don't. Well, hey, if you were okay with her fishing out the ring from a dense brown object before,
yeah, it's still gonna happen.
Yeah, the difference between a brownie and a turd is very minimal.
You cannot tell them because you're gonna ruin the surprise, and then it's, you know, insult to injury to a hospital trip. What you got to do is, oops, our toilet's broken. I got this litter tray for the week, and then you just, when she's out of the room, you gotta go through it. You gotta go quest.
That's I also know that like anytime my toilet is broken, the next alternative is pooping in my cat's litter box.
Oh no, don't be disgusting. You got a human one, dude.
So here, like, I feel like you do have to tell her because depending on the cut of this ring, it could do some fucking pretty solid damage to your intestinal tract and your digestive system, I imagine.
Now, what if you get a metal detector? And when they're not looking, whoop, across the stomach, did it beep?
Yeah.
If it beeped, then maybe, then you go tell her.
Hopefully they don't have a belly button ring, because then you'll have to get her to remove that somehow.
Then you, like, accidentally rip it off during sex, like sneeze and, oh, oops, and then beep, when they're, like, screaming in pain. Beep, beep. Oh.
Remember at the beginning of the episode where we said we're a dating and sex advice podcast? I feel like we have not...
So far, Well, I'm doing the joke stuff first before we get to the real stuff, because my brain feels foggy. You gotta ask her. You gotta mention it to her. I don't know. You know what I think you gotta do? You get down on your knee and you propose. And then she's gonna be happy. She might be like, where's the ring? And then you say, here's the funny thing, you might have eaten it. And then you tell them. Because then you get your engagement out of the way. The engagement part is fun. This is gonna be a funny story later. And then I guess they just have to think about what they felt when they swallowed and maybe check their shit. I don't know. But like, otherwise it's possible it never made it to the brownie or went to the wrong brownie, in which case it's in someone's hot little pocket or someone else. Did any other table jump up and start going, oh my God, while you were there? Because if that's the case,
the table beside you seemed to really enjoy that brownie.
Yeah. There was crying, there was screaming. The guy looked very scared.
Also, you couldn't find a fancier dessert than a brownie for your engagement?
You don't know these brownies. Maybe they were in the shape of a dick with ice cream inside.
Also, not a great option for an engagement.
But I think you have to propose, because like, if you just say, oh, you might have eaten your engagement ring, it's like they're never going to get that proposal. So it's like, get down on one knee, propose. Hopefully you still have the box, and don't tell them that they might have eaten it until after they're very excited and happy and they've hugged you, and like you pop open the box and then you're like, by the way. Because then they still get the proposal and the surprise and the happiness. Because if you just say, hey, you might have eaten your engagement ring, you've ruined that. They're never going to get it.
Yeah, and then you have to...
That's mine.
Then you have to break the bad news of, well, here's the thing.
Yeah, you have to shit in this colander for a week.
look, I love you very much and I want to spend the rest of our lives together. And we're going to start that by me thoroughly examining your poop for the next couple days.
In times like this, it's called stool.
Why?
Because it's more medically appropriate.
These people are breaking down the barriers and spending their lives together. It's not a medical procedure. This is a intimate moment. And if you can't say poop in the most intimate of moments, then you shouldn't get married.
Let me finger your shit. Also, spend the rest of my life with me. Becky?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, maybe this opens a new door for you to explore together. Maybe you guys are both into scat play.
Now, what we need to do is put this situation in the back pocket for next time someone's like, hey, I think I might be into ship. I don't know how to, broach the subject. And we're like, well, do we have the one for you? Get them a brownie.
Yeah.
Pretend there was an engagement ring in it. Then you get to delve through their bowel leavings all week.
Maybe introduce us as a sex thing. Be like, look, I really want you to poop on me.
Oh, there we go.
1 to 2 days.
Let's try
if
it
you
out.
have to poop. Yeah.
For 2
Look,
days.
we're in lockdown right now. We're working from home. The second you have to poop for the next 2 days, I want you to do it in my hands.
And I'm going to hold these magnets for unrelated reasons.
I feel like we're getting a little too poop centric. Perhaps we should move on to a new question.
Now, the thing is, did we not already announce that this is the only question we're doing this week?
Oh, this is our poop. Yeah, 172. If you don't know, if you count the letters in the alphabet and add them up to 172, it does spell poop episode.
It does, yeah. And also, if you know much about kind of the celestial bodies and the numbers and the meanings that they represent, Mercury right now is in poop episode brigade. So it would be weird if you didn't do it. Hit me.
Okay, this is Reddit user Kisscomer. How do you go for multiple rounds? Kisscomer.
Cummer?
Yes, it is exactly as you think it is. This is a sex podcast now. Good. You can't get distracted every time I say the word comer.
Maybe they were getting nearer. I don't know, dude. I'm all about fucking specificity and accuracy. That's how our listeners know me.
How do you go for multiple rounds?
When they email me and they say, hey, Mr. Accurate, we have a question for you.
How to go for multiple rounds. I've heard people go for 5 or 4, 5, 8 to 10 times in a day. I don't know how you people manage. I can't go for more than 1 round at a time. I get hard again after a couple of minutes, but I'm not in the mood again. It's like my horny switch flipped off for a couple hours. Any advice for going multiple rounds?
Well, definitely don't go too soon. 1. 2, I think it has to be I don't know. Because with new partners, you're obviously a little bit more excited. So I think it's easier. But with longer term partners, they know exactly what to do to get you going.
We need to examine, there's not a whole lot of information here, but we need to figure out why you want to go multiple rounds. Are you trying to match the sort of expectations that society and or media has set for men, that a good male sexual partner can go forever? Or is it just some arbitrary value? Because if you have sex and are then satisfied and don't feel like you want to keep having sex, you shouldn't keep having sex.
Well, that's
right.
100% it, right? It's oh, I want I'm not horny. How do I feel horny? It's if you're not horny, you're not horny. If you're done, if you don't want to have sex, which it doesn't sound like you do, then it's going to be kind of awful to do it. Even if you can get a physical reaction, it's if you're not into it, that physical reaction isn't going to last very long and you're not going to enjoy it. And then it's just a self-defeating prophecy then. So I think this would be a different question if they were oh, I'm super horny, but my junk doesn't cooperate. I'm I can't get hard, right. Or it takes me forever to come, or blah, 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 blah. But it does sound exactly like what you're saying, where for arbitrary reasons, this person just wants to be able to have said I went 4 rounds, So I think you got to start and examine why you want this, because it doesn't sound like you do. And if you don't, it's never going to happen.
Yeah. There's nothing. I mean, thankfully I'm pretty easy to convince to get into the mood, even if I'm not particularly horny at the moment. It's usually very, very easy to tip the scales in the horny favor for me. So that's great. But I absolutely know what you mean, where it's after you've had sex, I've had people be let's go again. And it's I'm good. I'm happy to, if there's something that I can do for you to help push you into that territory of being like, no more is needed, then by all means, absolutely. But if it involves me forcing myself and struggling to get hard again to have sex again, like, no. But if you need me to go down on you or finger you or something else, absolutely. I have no problem with that. But trying to either force someone to have sex with you again when they don't want to, or trying to force yourself to have sex again because you think you have to, is not the recipe for a healthy sexual relationship.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like my refractory period is usually pretty low anyway, but like that's just me. You know what I mean? Everyone is different, and like I could have, I could be 1 a day and done. I could be 10 a day, which by the way, I have done once and it sucked.
It's not great.
My dick hurt so much for days. It was like a deep muscle ache. And the thing is, it's like the first few were great, but like towards the end, we were literally just hammering them out because we both kind of decided we wanted to hit that arbitrary number. No, like that's the thing. That's where you're going to end up, and it's not fun. So chill. You don't need it.
I find that like 2 is it's rare that I go twice.
Mm-hmm.
I usually enjoy having just like a good solid 1. And then like, maybe like a time to, eat, drink, or like have a good chat. And then should the conversation flow into sexy territory, go for it again. But I feel like for me that I actually enjoy, it stops being enjoyable for me after 2, usually. Because at that point, it's like, number 3, the likelihood of me finishing, very, very slim. Very, very slim. And at that point, I feel like that's when the dick pain comes in, the way that you were describing, sort of that like that deep interior sort of ache comes in. It's like,
not great.
That's like that. The word ache shouldn't be something that is in my genitals. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Pain has a place in the bedroom when it's consensual and everyone's on board and it's done safely. Aches, nope.
Unless it's like an achingly slow blowjob or something, you know what I mean?
But there isn't. But that's not an actual ache. That's a metaphysical thing.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. Like and again, like you're saying 2 is enough for you. I could definitely do 4 easy, but again, this is just people being different, so it doesn't matter what I say. It doesn't matter what Dane says.
Can you actually finish like 3 and 4?
Like, oh yeah. Wait, and again, if we're
okay,
like, are we talking about a day or are we talking like an hour? You know what I mean?
I'm talking about like one sit down session. Like you don't leave the bed and you're just going. Like if we're talking about from like dusk till dawn, I think 4 is I could probably do 4.
Mm-hmm.
But so, I'm talking about like you have a glass of water and get right back in it.
Okay, yeah. If it's like you're not exactly departing, because like the 10 was over a full day. You know what I mean? And it's like we went and got fucking steak and oysters at one point and like came back. And I think if we hadn't done that, like, God, it would just probably get boring at some point. And like then it's like what counts as a break? You know what I mean? Is an hour or 2? Is a nap? Is water and food? Like blah, blah, blah. So these are all hard to quantify. But like if it's just the 1 session, I think 2 is about like it's a midpoint between doable and like regularly doable. Like maybe you could hammer out 3 the odd time or whatever. Maybe it's only 1, but like 2 is probably about median. Anyway, all this goes to say, if you're not into it, you're not into it. And you need to examine or tell us why it is that you want to be able to go multiple rounds. As Dane said, if your partner wants more, great. You can give it to them. You don't need to fuck them. You can go down on them. You can finger them. You can, if they're good to go another time, and bring toys, right? Like there are so many things you can do that like don't need your dick. So if that's not an option for you, don't torture yourself by trying to convince your sleeping serpent to rise. Just fucking pleasure them, and they're not going to care that you didn't use your dick. In fact, they'll probably prefer that you didn't. So
yeah, and like these are things that you need to address with your partner to like early on to sort of suss out compatibility, and then the compromises and concessions you need to make in your sexual relationship. As Nell said, like if they're the kind of person that wants to go multiple times and you aren't, maybe this relationship won't work in terms of a sexual compatibility, but there are tons of ways to make it work. Like we've said, oral, fingering, toys. So like if once you guys are done and they need a little something more, that's the time that you like talk about that and be like, cool, I don't have it in me to go another round. It's not going to happen. I'm sorry. As much as I'd love to, my body just won't cooperate and I'm kind of at its mercy. What other options can we pursue to get you where you need to go? Because I would 100% like to make sure you're just as satisfied as I am. And then you have that conversation. And if you guys don't work compatibility wise, you don't, sucks, time to move on.
Mm-hmm.
But if you guys are going to work together, then it's like, great. Maybe go to a sex shop and pick out a toy that would be fun for both of you to use.
And like on top of that, it's like, if you are determined to try to give this a shot, you are going to need your partner to be on board and like understand where you're coming from, so that if you get soft, they're not going to be upset. If you don't finish, they're not going to be upset, etc. But on top of that, it's like foreplay. Take your time, get them to like really get you going, right? Because like I'm sure there are times where like someone's been doing X, Y, or Z, and you're like, we can skip that part because like if we're gonna fuck, I need to have some stamina. This is the time you get to enjoy, like have a big long blowjob before you get going. Like enjoy that part that maybe you don't get to enjoy as much before, or maybe you do, and then just do more of it. Work with that. Get them to really nail down the things that you really like. Don't forget to focus on them. Try something new. You can do it. So take your time.
Good luck. And don't just have sex arbitrarily because you think that is what is required of you. Talk about with your partner. Have the conversation with yourself, figure out why you want to do this, and then make healthy and fair decisions based on those conversations.
This is by Fake Safe Word, which seems weird. I don't like that. I've been ripping off song lyrics to get numbers. In case anyone was wondering about things they can do to keep conversations going. I started ripping off remotely cryptic song lyrics to songs I like and claiming their poems and saying them straight-faced to women. Make sure you maintain eye contact when you do it, and it works well. Yes, I am randomly looking at someone and begin reciting. I'm not asking if they want to hear a poem or a warning, because that might come off corny or weird. Just make eye contact and start reciting. One girl knew a song it was from, called me out on it, but ended up laughing her asses off about how ridiculous it was that I attempted that. I got her number anyways. So this is some advice posted on Seduction, and I want, 1, your songs of choice, because obviously this is how we did it too, and 2, your thoughts on this very standard approach.
If you're horny, let's do it.
Oh.
Ride it. My pony.
Ride what? Oh, you have a horse?
My pony. I just said it. Are you not listening to my art?
I'm sorry. I was blindsided because I'm actually talking to my mom outside of a shop here. Mom, shut the fuck up. There's a poet talking to me. A pony. Wow. How old?
She makes you order the French champagne.
The pony?
I don't remember the next line of that.
Yeah, it's fair. Apparently his go-to was, there used to be a graying tower alone on the sea. You became the light side, or the light on the dark
seal?
side of me.
Kiss from a rose?
I don't believe this at all, sir. Also, who doesn't know that? Come on. You gotta eat the booty like groceries. So I'd just say.
You've got your ball. You've got your chain. Tie to me tight. Tie me up again.
Is this Dave Matthews?
Yeah.
How did I know that?
How did you know?
I'm just going to go ahead and say that this probably won't work for you, friends.
I think if this works for this guy, good for him. I think it, like, as long as, I think the reaction of like someone calling him out and then laughing.
Well, the funny thing is, I think that's actually very like positive.
Yes. I think like if this is your stupid gambit that you're willing to like bust out, it's harmless. You know what I mean? Like you're not assaulting them. He's not telling you to fucking, like, I assume he means that like if you're talking to someone and you've already engaged in a conversation and you bust this out, like it's something to catch people off guard. I don't hate it. In terms of things that Seduction has offered us, it's not the worst. He's not being like, oh, walk up to strangers and just start reciting. It doesn't seem like that's his advice. I think it sounds more that like, in mid conversation with someone that you're already talking to, drop some shitty, like some seal lyrics on them.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? If it works for you, it works for you. I think it is very much something you have to commit to. And I feel like trying to replicate it, likely not going to find any results unless you find like a song that just like is very funny and everyone knows. Like if you, I don't know, I think it would actually be better if you like, if they ask you what you do and you're like, oh, actually I'm a poet. And then you recite like Mbop by Hanson. or something that is very obviously like All the Small Things by Blink-182, something that everyone knows that is
Yeah.
actively not good poetry, then like
Yeah,
sure,
I think
maybe
if it's very clear you're if you both know that you're just reciting song lyrics, it could be very funny. Like worst case, they're like, this guy's weird. But like if you're chill about it and you laugh and it's like you know what you're doing, they know what you're doing, it could be a funny icebreaker. You just then also need to be like chill enough to laugh along and or just be like, yeah, that was really weird. Ha, bye. I think like there's nothing wrong with being afraid to be a little strange or weird or like have a joke or be funny. These are all good things. It's weird that this is one of the more positive seduction things.
Yeah, it's like I think like something like a Sir Mix-a-Lot or a Sir Mix-a-Lot drop of being like, I like big butts and I cannot lie. You know what I mean? Like opening with that, it's like, especially if the lady you're talking to has.
Now the thing is, that's a little bit more aggressively sexual, and I do also think this person was talking about like cold approaching like that. So maybe not something like
maybe
that.
not. No,
I
feel like
then you're being a
like
little
good
bit of a
rapport
creep
first. Yes,
yeah,
that's fair.
Yeah, so yeah, that was just a little segue into the world of seduction. I'd like to keep you updated. I spent almost 48 hours on that Reddit last year for you guys. I think I've become a worse person because of it, and I just want you all to know.
That's too long. This comes from, which is weird. This question should have had the previous username, in my opinion. Kisscum. The question is, going down with a beard? I, 23-year-old male, have a beard, and anytime I go down on my partner and she finishes, I come up with spit and her cum all stuck in my mustache and chin area. I usually go just wash it off, and then we'll get back to it. It's not her wanting me to wash it off. It's just because I feel a little messy. I can tell it kind of kills the mood. I know sex is supposed to be messy, but it's hard for me not to go wash my face. Does anyone else have a beard with this problem? And is there any way to get rid of this mental block? And then in brackets, they do clarify, I will not be shaving because I like my beard.
Damn, that was my only advice. No.
Which is, hey, let me tell you, I feel you, brother. I would not, if someone was like, oh, just shave your beard, I'd be like, no.
No, not. That's a solution, sure, but like, that's not why you come to us. You come to us for like the finesse, not the brute force,
Yeah.
I just wipe my mouth with the back of my hand and I'm good.
Just give it a good old cartoon like kiss, just back of the hand, start at the elbow, work away just right down, flick it off.
Like, now, I don't have as majestic of a beard as you. I do have the facial hair, but like, unless
I would
someone
say
was like,
yours, you have specifically all of the area cover that would get messy.
True, but I don't think I have the same like mouth region absorbability that you, I would imagine, do.
No, definitely not.
Like, so yeah, honestly, like if my partner was like, and some people are on various levels of the like comfortability with like that, so it's like I would match my approach to kind of their preferences, but like it doesn't bother me, so I usually just give them a little wipe the back of the hand and just keep going.
I have a couple moves that I do. One,
are you? Let me guess. You're a towel lying in wait kind of guy.
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
You're
a lavender
first thing
face cloth.
Yeah, I have a warm towel just sitting, a warm, moist towel that I have ready to just dip. No, I mean, the first thing, like if I've done my job, my partner usually requires a little bit of time to recover after my performance. So I will use that time to sort of like kiss the inner thigh or make my way up the body slowly. And what I'm really doing there,
you're snail trailing.
Yeah, is just wiping my juices back upon them.
Yeah, you need to leave a little slug trail from clit to lips.
It's a little gift for them and a little cleanup for me is the way I like to, because I'm giving them nice sensual kisses and also wiping their juices back upon themselves to be reabsorbed.
To them.
Yeah. The other option you can do is, once again, like if they need a second to catch their breath and recover or whatever, you're probably on a bed, most likely. Just grab one of the sheets. Give yourself a quick wipe down.
Whoa.
I also I think there's something sexy to be said about the face wipe as well. I think there's something kind of hot of being like, I did my job, much like I've just eaten a delicious meal. I'll wipe my face.
Mhm. Yeah, 100%. It's like, when those wings are just so good that it's everywhere and you're done and you're just like, "Nah." That's like, they're seeing that you did a good job after they just felt that you did a good job. And it's,
Yeah.
but it sounds
Um,
like this is a you problem, question asker, not
It
a them
does, yes.
problem. So it's like, well, maybe you need to talk to your partner and see what they're comfortable with. Because one, to make sure whether, like, if they think you leaving is kind of like taking out of your like sexual momentum, as it seems like you're worried. Because if they're not and you're cool with this, then fuck it. No harm, no foul. If they are, then you can bring up like oh, well, I'm worried that it's messy and whether or not you care about it. And if they don't, then it is 100% a you thing. And then you can be left with the do I care or not question. If you care, maybe leave a towel lying in wait. You know what I mean? If something like that would make you feel better, it's a good compromise. You don't have to get up, but you don't just like ignore it, right? And if you are okay with it, now that you know that they're okay with it, get a little messy. Just get a little messy.
I would imagine that he probably doesn't care too much about the mess because I feel like anyone that adverse to it wouldn't be getting that messy in the first place. You'd get the weird hover, oral sex where someone's afraid to like really get down into the juicy bits. So I imagine he's probably okay with the mess. It's probably more after the fact of being like, I'm now covered in your juices and we're now going to be making out. So I think it probably is him considering his partner, which is a great thing to do. But as Niall said,
always.
have the conversation. Just being like, hey, when I come out, I'm very, very messy. And do you care about that? Yes, no, as you said. And I think the best compromise here is, like you said, have a towel just on standby so that you can clean up and get right into it. That way it's like you're getting clean. You're not leaving the room and having a quick, face wash, and you get right into it. Problem solved.
Yeah, and let them know like why you're asking. Just like, oh, I'm worried that I'm kind of like taking away from the momentum when I leave. Like, just have the discussion. Say why you do it. Say why you're worried. See where they're at. If they're like, oh yeah, it doesn't bother me. Just like, back of the hand, boom. Then again, if you are uncomfortable with it, maybe it's just like the towel. Like then it's a you thing. So it's like, will a towel be enough for you? And just work from there because we can't really determine your comfort level from this and from your own brain. But I feel like we've given you enough options to work around.
Have a nice warm lemon finger bowl, the way that
Ooh,
barbecue restaurants have, so that you can sort of
like a fancy wing place.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Then you can be lemony fresh.
Does anyone do that anymore? Do places still do that?
Not with
Someone
COVID.
must.
Are you joking? Make a COVID soup out of your fingies? Dang. I honestly, I don't know. I haven't been to a place that's done in a while. Good old lemon bowl.
Good old lemon bowl.
Right. This is by Bambi, the game for girls. How do I get the guy? Most people are familiar with Neil Strauss's The Game, but does a similar version for women exist? Like, how do I get the guy? In my opinion, one of the most fundamental ways men and women differ is that for women, winning the game is marriage, whereas for men, winning the game is having as many sex partners as possible. I know it's a rough generalization, but let's play. How do women get the guy, the one and only? How do I, female, late 20s, win my crush's affection, male, early 20s? I think we're perfect for each other. He's mature for his age, but still a college student. By his own words, he wants a girlfriend, but is not yet ready for kids. We've been on a few dates. We've had amazing sex. The kid talk. And he seems very trusting and trustworthy. But it's a few days later and no word. Is he playing me? Not interested? Dating another girl? I'm looking for either a set of rules for women to getting the dream guy or solid advice from you guys how to stand out and become more than just a sexual acquaintance. Thank you, Heart.
That question exhausted me.
Yep.
Because look, there's no rules. If there were rules, everyone would be doing it. Everyone would be exactly with who they want to be with. And sorry, but that's not how it works.
Yeah, life would be so fucking boring if there were rules. And even if they existed, they would not exist for long because if everyone was doing it, which they would be, they wouldn't work anymore because they'd be so fucking boring. That's how the world works. There is no world where the rules have existed or would exist, and they don't. So I think one very important thing people can do is get that out of their fucking mind. There's no trick. There is no secret 4 things you didn't realize you were doing, because if there were, people would sell it to you and you'd be good for life. and it would just get around and it would just be a thing. People scam lonely, sad people out of money by pretending there are rules and there aren't.
Hey, you know what? Like, yes, I agree with you 100%. There are no rules. But I mean,
Wait.
if we want to think about it, there are. Don't be a garbage person. Be honest.
Yes.
Like, though, like if you were looking for rules, they're kind of like, just look at what it means to be a decent human being.
Mhm.
And those are the rules to hopefully attract the partner that you want.
Now,
And
these
really,
are rules
that's it.
to not lose your partner, or at least not be automatically disqualified. This person wants a surefire way, like a checklist to just go tick, tick, tick. Oh shit, we're married.
That was my other thing. I was like, is she saying that her end game is marriage? Because she makes some pretty broad generalizations there as well, being like, men winning the game is all sex, women winning the game is, but she didn't really say what her win scenario is.
I'm assuming the fact that she generalized women as having that means that she buys into that idea. I don't know. Yeah, hit me. What's your recommendation for this lass?
Like, you need, like I said, like it's all the shit that we say all the time. One, talk to this person. Be like, hey, I really like you, and I would like to pursue a more serious relationship with you. That's how you do it. That's how you get into relationships like a normal human being. There's no mind game. There's no do this, do that, don't do this, don't do that situation that will reel them in. Are there things that you could do to increase your attractiveness? Probably. Are there, you know what I mean? Like, are there little tricks that maybe you could pull off? But again, it's so circumstantial, as we saw with, you know, Mr. Song poem lyric guy. That might do great for him. But I would imagine 99% of the people who might try to copy that wouldn't find any success with it because it doesn't mean anything to them. So trying to find what works for one person is like trying to find, like having someone who wrote a number one song be like, oh yeah, so I just sat down and I thought about my breakup. And then you being like, cool, I can write a number one song because I just have to sit down and think about my breakup.
Yeah.
It's like, no, there's so many other variables at play, and it's not an equivalency from person to person. It is not the same thing for anyone. So trying to find these set of rules that are going to make your life easier and get you the partner exactly who you want, it's not going to work. And trying to operate that way is only going to make your life more difficult than if you just be honest with yourself, be honest with your partner, and just operate under those guidelines. You know what I mean? Operate with a set of moral parameters that you believe in and move forward with that. And like, that's really the advice that I can give to anyone, not just this person, just everyone ever, regardless of whether you're trying to date someone or not. The way that you will find success and feel good about yourself at the end of the day is maintain what you believe in and do your best to operate under those parameters honestly forever.
Okay.
Right? Like,
so here's my rules. Rule 1, there are no rules, right? Like, there isn't going to be a list of rules that'll just get you there. Like, that's insane. You need to forget that. Rule 2,
don't talk about rules.
Don't talk about rules. It's been a few days, no word. Is he playing me? Not interested? Dating another girl? 1, whoa, calm down. 2, how the fuck would we know? All you've told us is that few days, no word. And that applies to you. If that's all you know, why would your mind jump there? 3, if they haven't reached out to you, reach out to them. It very much feels like you're in a ball in his court kind of situation where, like, oh, I really like this guy, but like, fuck, I'm just sitting here waiting for him to message me. Fucking message him. If it doesn't work out, great, whatever. But like, you're not gonna even get to that point if you don't have any kind of like impetus. Also, you want to stand out. People like people who are confident. Guys like women who aren't afraid to reach out, who don't play these stupid, like, I can't message him, I'm a girl fucking games, right? So don't fall into that trap. Dane raised a very good point. If you want to date someone, ask them. But it might be a bit early because you said you've been on a few dates. And the fact that you were talking about marriage as well, this is my point. Don't move too fast. You don't know this person that well yet. You're saying he's your dream crush. You're talking about kids and marriage and like, how do I get him? And it's like, again, kind of dial that back a little. It's great that you like this person, but you did just meet them. And it's like, marriage should be because you've met someone who's phenomenal and like, you really want to spend the rest of your life with them, not just like, oh, he ticks these boxes, I got to get there as fast as I can. Then you just want marriage. You don't want this person. Learn to get to know this person and appreciate them for who they are. Don't move too quickly. be honest, don't play fucking games, and calm down a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I think get to know the person is an
Yeah,
excellent rule to have.
It's a pretty good one, right? I came up with that myself.
It's really good. I'm really proud of you.
Thank you. And it's like, hey, you guys aren't exclusive, so if he is dating another girl, that's also okay. Unless they're exclusive.
You made a very good point of being like, I find it so much more attractive, and it really like cranks up my interest in a woman when they ask me to do something. And it's not saying that like I don't, I will, if there's something that I want to do and I want to do it with a person, I will ask them, or I will invite people out on dates and yada yada. But it's also nice when a woman is like, hey, I'm doing this, do you want to come with me? Or hey, do you want to
Okay.
go
I was like waiting for where this goes because it sounded like the way you phrased it was like, I love when people, they just ask me to do shit. It's like, hey, do my laundry. Hey, dude, I was like, what?
No, I
Like, ask
I
you
like
out.
when women aren't afraid to make a move and be like, let's go see like a band that I like is playing next week. Do you want to go see them with me? Like, that's incredible. That makes me feel like the effort is being put in. It makes me feel like you're not just waiting around. Like, if I ask you to do something, you're happy to do it, but like, you're not really going to put in the effort to ask me to do something. So my interest in a
100%.
woman jumps, even like regardless of how interested I am in you in general, or before you do that. But let me tell you, there's nothing more attractive than a woman who's not afraid to ask me out on a date.
And like,
Especially if
the
like we've
thing
been
is,
seeing each other for a while.
that shouldn't be groundbreaking. You want people to put in what you're putting in. You know what I mean? Like, it should be a two-way street, a relationship. It's like, if you're inviting people out, they should invite you out. Like, if you're kind to someone, they should be kind to you. If you get someone presents, they should get you. You know what I mean? It should be like this. But too many people are willing to like kind of passively sit there. Like, for our fucking second date, for the second date with my partner, she was like, hey, I'm going to do flying trapeze. You should come. I was like, fuck yeah. It's incredible. One of the coolest dates I've ever been on. It was so much fun. And we're still together. It's been like a long time. So there you go. Do that. Don't be passive. Be an active partner in the relationship that you're forming. And it's like, if they're not interested, you don't want to fucking marry this person if they're not interested in you. There's no fakery. There's no weird thing you could do to stand out. You stand out by being you, because then they
We've
want
gotten
you for
so
being
off
you.
track because this question is such a non-question. You know what I mean? Like, being like, how do I get the person? It's like, do you have 80 hours to listen to us ramble about every facet of relationships? Because like, it's not an easy answer. There is no answer to that question. There just isn't.
No.
So asking
There's
like,
a million answers.
yeah, it's the same thing as being like, how do I talk to women? Are you are you kidding me, man? Like, other than me saying you walk over and you use your words to express the thoughts that are in your head so that they can hear it and process it with their brain, like, that's how you talk to a woman, really. But like, there's so it's.
I will say,
Yeah,
my last piece of advice is step away from this stupid binary you seem to have of women want marriage, men want sex partners. No, like, that is so reductive and wrong that like, you're just gonna live life with just the wrong expectations about everybody. Things aren't that simple, so stop. There are lots of women who want to have a lot of sex. There are lots of men who want to get married. So you're already wrong, and you're just gonna
they're
like.
also not mutually exclusive.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, like, it's just absolutely insane to be like, this is this and this. Like, no. So there we go. We're done.
And that brings us to the end of the show, in which we open up our Tinder apps and peruse online dating platforms to see what profiles are making the cut and which ones aren't. We look for red flags in an effort to make your online dating experience a little more enjoyable.
All right, this is Anna. Thank you, Father Douglas, for the 600th lockdown. Hit me up if you have an idea for a date that isn't walking around the block 16 times.
I really don't like hearing Doug Ford referred to as Father Douglas.
I love hearing it, in a way, because it is awful.
It is very funny, though. I mean, yeah, dating right now is difficult.
Now, I will say, I appreciate that they want to shake it up, but there's a hint of bitterness in there, too, that I don't love.
I don't know if it's bitterness. I feel like it's more frustration at the situation, because if you're single and trying to date right now, like, what else is there to do? And I feel like the idea of being like, please, I need something other than a walk because we've gone on so
Mhm.
many fucking walks.
That's fair.
So
but I
don't know.
I want them to suggest some. Anyway, I'm giving it a 6.
Yeah, I'll give it a 6 as well.
Okay.
Now
Right.
I only have one this week. I slacked a
Cool.
little bit this week.
I got a bunch. It's okay. Our Agent Valiant Heart is just a champ.
Yeah,
Just
this
a
is
champ.
Annie. I've always operated under the assumption that there's plenty more fish in the sea, but I recently watched Seaspiracy, so here I am.
That's pretty good.
That's very good.
I like that.
I think it's like it shows a lot in there. It shows that like, oh, you watch documentaries, you're socially conscious, you're able to make a joke that isn't hopefully repeated. Like I haven't seen that one before.
Yeah, it's both like very culturally relevant, but also not overdone. You know, if she had something about like explaining Game of Thrones in there, that's super trite and boring.
Look, it is now. That was my profile fucking, what, 8 years ago? 7 years ago?
I'm joking. I'll give it an 8.
Hey, Niall?
Mhm.
That was 8 years ago.
That's wild, man.
That's
got-
fucked.
We got old real quick.
How did that happen?
Hey, we're becoming more irrelevant by the day. I'm giving it an 8.
I also give it an 8. Very good, Annie.
This is JS. Here looking for like-mindedness and not pen pals. Only interested in non-smokers, non-vaxxed, and emotionally available gents. Plant medicine, quantum physics, the universe and everything about it. Bacata, salsa, and the running man. Dance emoji.
So, super into complex science. Don't want the vaccine, though. Also,
I like
here are
complex science,
3
but I
random
also
dance-
hate facts.
Yeah. It's a 0. I have no time
Yeah.
for the unvaccinated right now.
100%. It's like I don't really want to spend a life explaining why just basic science and facts should be accepted. This is Caroline. Born in Ile Blizzard, Montreal. Since then, I've outlived some interesting love stories. First, my Titanic affair. We ended more or less like Jaws. Following that lovely experience was The Notebook, which I thought was romantic, if not for IT. Our 20th anniversary was in a year, but Titanic rose again from the sea. Still, I have to say my favorite was Cinderella. It evolved into a Black Widow bride situation. I've moved on, obviously, but I still can't eat popcorn. I'm leaning towards the Saw series now.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I have no idea.
At first, I was like, okay, there's gonna be a joke using all these movie titles you're using, but then there wasn't. And are you talking about just liking movies and going back and forth to what your favorite movie is? Why are you saying it like this?
Or are they calling are they naming their previous lovers as movies? In which case, their life sounds like a mess. I don't know. I literally,
I know. I'm giving this a 0 because it's so upsetting.
yeah, it's not good.
Actually, no, sorry. I'm
It's-
giving it a 1 because
Sure.
it's not 0 quality.
Mhm. It's not like socially repugnant, but it is confusing
Exactly.
and upsetting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish to fuck I knew what they were talking about, but I have not a fucking clue.
Yeah, me neither. I was like, did I miss something? Did I fucking black out and miss how this got going? Because I don't get it.
Yeah, it hurts my brain to read. This is Anna. I do not want to hook up. Looking for a plug. And then all capitals. Don't know how to use this app. I'm a boomer. Then lowercase. What the fuck is a super like? It's like, 1, you're not a boomer. You're 27. 2, super likes are pretty simple to figure out.
Yeah.
3, no, it's bland at best. I'm giving it a 2.
The whole app is very easy to figure out.
Yeah.
Yes and no. You did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a 2.
We are on the same page today. This is Yvonne. I have no faith in this anymore. Dating, the world, Don Cherry ever coming back, the basics. Dislikes, slow sidewalk walkers, and participation ribbons. Let's meet or I'll unmatch. Unjabbed, happily. Goal is land and chickens, 420 friendly.
Land and chickens?
Mm-hmm.
Like I guess to like own a farm?
I guess.
I mean, the second they were upset that Don Cherry's not coming back is enough for me to be like,
That's-
nope, no thanks.
That's exactly what the person who sent this in said. Yeah, just no.
This is getting a 0.
Oh yeah, maybe even the minus.
One more.
This is Anna. Again, a different Anna.
So many Annas.
Time is merciless. It will make people look at their own truth in the mirror made by themselves.
Again, the whole the waxing philosophical on your dating profile without a punchline. really bothers me because it doesn't say anything other than like you might be a bit much.
It's like, I know when Brianna was on the podcast, we talked about some of the profiles we enjoyed that were funny are also, they give you very little to kind of go on by the person themselves. But it's like humor is a very big part of, I think, dating, and I think you do learn a lot about someone by like how funny they are, and obviously you're missing a lot more. But with something like this, maybe it's just me, but it's like you don't really get anything from these vague philosophical posts other than like, meh. If I know you're funny, we can have a laugh. That's something we can build off. For me, with this, it's like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, I agree. It's one of those things where I'm just like, this could be something that really means something to you because of other reasons. Like this, there could be a very large story and very moving story as to why this quote speaks to you. But as a stranger spending 10 seconds on your profile, it seems very low effort because you've just copy and pasted someone else's words that really have no indication as to who you are as a person without, I would hope, a fairly in-depth backstory as to why you chose this quote.
Yeah, and it's like, if you have something like that, that might be really interesting, and that sounds like something you can drop on a date. But in this format, it's kind of just a nothing. So
yeah,
I'm gonna give it
you
a
have
3.
to assume that like people are going to spend 10 seconds or less on your profile and immediately forget it once they've said yes or no to you. So like you need to make a quick impact and then, you know, let your personality shine in the messages if you guys match. To sort of like dump your personality in the form of someone else's words and hope that it means something to someone else, I don't know how much success you're gonna have. So yeah, I'm gonna give this a 2.
Yeah. All right. And that's it for us. That's the show. But don't
That will
wait.
do
No,
it.
there's still more stuff.
Okay.
Listen, open your ears. I'm not talking to you, audience. I'm talking to Dane. You can stick around too.
Okay.
Thank you, Josh Eagle and the Harvest Cities, for their song Paper Stars, first, foremost. Thank you to everybody who's a patron. Thank you for supporting us. That's incredible. We love you guys so much. We say it all the time, and we won't stop saying it. Thank you to everybody who checked out No Quest for the Wicked, our other podcast, which I believe we feed dropped last week. We got a whole bunch of you jumping onto that, and I hope you enjoyed it. And if you did, we would fucking love to hear what you thought. Hey, even if you didn't enjoy it, we would love to hear what you thought, because we always strive to make things better, no matter what. So thank you, and feel free to reach out, please. It did really well. We were in the top, I think, 13 in the Canadian charts on our first week, which was fucking insane. So I'm pretty sure we have some of you guys to thank for that. So thank you very much. Again, we just cannot say it enough. Got anything to say, Dane?
Yeah, if you have a question and you'd like to send it in, please head on over to fbuddiespodcast.com. You can hit the contact form, fill it out. You could choose your agent name, or we will assign one for you. We keep it completely anonymous, and we will answer it as soon as possible. Also, if you're interested in becoming a patron and supporting the show, as Niall mentioned, head on over to fbuddiespodcast.com as well and click the Patreon link. It'll take you to the site, and it'll give you all the options for $7 a month, which is sort of the middle tier. You get a extra bonus episode every month called Pillow Talk, where we get a little loosey-goosey. We have a little bit of fun. We keep things a lot more casual there. We still answer questions now and then, but we kind of like do whatever we want and interact a little bit more intimately on that show. Also, as Niall mentioned, we have a new show called No Quest for the Wicked. It's an actual play Starfinder show, which means that we are playing a game called Starfinder, very similar to D&D, but in space. It's kind of like improv and storytelling, where a lot of our decisions are dictated by the roll of a dice. If you're interested in that, head on over to noquestcast.com, and there are all the links for all the listening platforms, as well as a link to our Discord, in which you can hop on over and discuss the show with other people who are listening.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Dane put in an incredible amount of work, and it fucking shows. And he dropped some crazy stuff on us that we aren't expecting, and it gets wild pretty quick. So I love listening to it, and I'm in it. So, and I hate hearing my voice. So you should definitely, hopefully, like it. And yeah, ready for some bad sex writing? It's kind of a funny story by Ned Vizzini. No, Craig, I want a big, dumb, fake answer. Noelle rolls her eyes. I think her breasts roll in sync with them. Girls' breasts are so amazing.
Yeah. Man, it's really, really... Because women are always like, hey, look at my eyes. My eyes are up here. But when the boobs are doing the exact same thing as the eyes...
Exactly. Thank you.
What am I supposed to look at, women?
And no one's talking about it. Do you know how distracting it is where they, like, someone looks you up and down and, like, their tits just heave suddenly?
The worst is blinking.
Oh my God.
My name is Dane Miller,
My name is Niall Spain.
and we've been your fuck buddies.
Blink them titties.